Hi everyone, this is Eagle News. I am Rose Papa Angeles in Washington. It's the second Saturday of the month, the 9th of July 2022, here in the nation's capital. The week's recap begins now. In an effort to get illegal fireworks off the streets of Los Angeles during the country's July 4th holiday, the city hosts its second fireworks buyback event. Close to 700 pounds of illegal fireworks have been collected this year. Eva Basayahe has the details.
In a joint effort between the Los Angeles Police and Fire Departments and the City Council District 7, the second annual Fireworks Buyback Program aims to give LA City residents a safe and anonymous way to dispose of fireworks just in time for the 4th of July holiday.
Today I'm hosting the second annual Fireworks Buyback Program, where we are offering an opportunity for the public to turn in illegal fireworks. Fireworks are completely illegal in the city of Los Angeles, but to turn them in anonymously and to garner something of great value in exchange. We have a number of gift cards, Dodger tickets, a variety of options that are going to be provided in kind for people voluntarily disposing of these items here. Excited to be offering this opportunity again this year. Last year was wildly successful. We collected over 1/4 ton of illegal fireworks, and so we're hoping to make that an even bigger number this year.
It's very easy. There's no information that's taken down, no ID required. We don't write down people's license plates. It's very anonymous. You come in, you open up your trunk, they go in the back, grab the fireworks, they weigh it, and depending on what the weight of the fireworks is, the kind of prize or gift card that you get. There was quite a big amount that was taken off the streets here, and we're expecting about the same again for this year. Eventually, rolling this out to the entire city is the goal. We want to make sure that we give the opportunity to citizens, especially parents who find their kids have gone out and bought some fireworks. We want to get them off the streets. Tragically, here in Los Angeles, we see a lot of fireworks that are illegal in our city being set off on 4th of July weekend. They cause unnecessary injuries and they cause fires. We have about 400 additional incidents on top of our already busy call load, and those are related or connected to fireworks.
The main reason why we're doing this is to try to minimize the amount of illegal fireworks in the city of Los Angeles. We do know that there are fireworks in other cities that deem them safe and sane, and those are the ones that you see in the little booths, but not in the city of Los Angeles. So people typically will buy those in other areas and bring them into the city of Los Angeles for use, where it is illegal for that to happen. So between the fire department and the police department, we're trying to prevent that from happening by buying them back from people who may have acquired them.
We're willing to have people turn in their illegal fireworks and give them amnesty for charges and what have you. And we're hopeful that people are going to bring in fireworks maybe that a family member has, their friends have, maybe they have them around the house from previous 4th of July celebrations or something. Those can be in a very dangerous state. They can be unstable depending on how long you've had them, where you've stored them, and how you've stored them. What we're asking people to do is bring them in so that we can take them into custody safely and have our LAPD bomb squad dispose of them in a safe manner. The one message I'd really like to send is there are plenty of professional fireworks and laser shows going on throughout this weekend. I would encourage people to avail themselves of those events and enjoy themselves. Enjoy the 4th of July, enjoy the things that are important in this country, enjoy our independence and freedom.
Invite everybody to attend one of our wonderfully produced public events. We have, for the first time in well over a decade, I'm hosting a first annual drone light show, the first of its kind in the city of Los Angeles on the 4th of July. So come on out, have a good time with the family, and let's celebrate the 4th of July safely.
The 1/4 ton in 21 Councilwoman Rodriguez spoke of translates into a 1/4 ton less air and noise pollution and a 1/4 ton less risk of property damage and bodily injury. For 2022, they hope to surpass last year's numbers. Eva Basayahe, Eagle News, Mission Hills, California.
Now, after much effort to rid the streets of illegal fireworks through the city's buyback event, Los Angeles celebrates the 4th of July with a safe and fun drone light show and festival. In Lakeview Terrace, California, Alan Basiyahe with the report.
For this Independence Day celebration, the City of Los Angeles Council District 7 has sponsored a drone light presentation for residents looking to take in 4th of July festivities without all the boom and thunder of traditional fireworks shows.
Today we're hosting a 4th of July celebration, but we're doing it with a twist. In lieu of traditional pyrotechnics, we're using drones to help really celebrate the 4th of July in a more environmentally sensitive manner. Pyrotechnics have a lot of environmental impacts to the air quality, but also to the immense fire danger that we already have because of the drought conditions. This is a community that has endured 3 major wildfires, and so I wanted to do something a little bit different. And these drones are going to project not just iconic imagery that I think people can celebrate as a love letter to Los Angeles, but also just to be able to celebrate some of the iconic figures that have come from our community that are going to be captured in this presentation.
Oh, this is a big show. Typically what people are seeing, depending on budgets, it's anywhere from 150 to 200 drones. What we're doing here is super special. What we have here is a field of 400 drones of awesomeness. From the creative side, we're able to give a customer a lot more from a storyboard standpoint and give them many more visuals that a firework display can never do.
This was my reaction. So cool. The drone light show was very cool, and it looked like it was just like a screen with like colors on it.
When I think about drone, is like I just think the overhead recording and stuff. So to see the drones being synchronized like that, like it was just really awesome to me. Even my daughter was like that. She was like, they probably like rehearsed this a lot, and because it leaves you wondering like, did they practice? Like, it was really good.
Now, we did notice that there were more four-legged visitors to this event than at those with loud fireworks shows. Pet owners tell us that they look forward to more 4th of July celebrations that take into account those that are hearing sensitive. Alan Basoyahe, Eagle News, Lakeview Terrace, California.
As the U.S. celebrated Independence Day this past weekend in cities across the country, the town of Frisco, Texas held its own unique festivities as well. Jane Kathleen Gregorio reports.
One of the popular ways to spend 4th of July in North Texas is by attending the Frisco Freedom Fest, a celebration of the nation's birthday with day-long activities such as a taste of Frisco with food booths from local restaurants, a patriotic vendor village, a party in the plaza, family fun activities, live music, a children's expo, a classic car and motorcycle show, and the highlight of the event, which is a 20-minute fireworks extravaganza. At approximately 10:15 p.m., fireworks lit up the night sky following the conclusion of the FC Dallas soccer match that took place at Toyota Stadium. Considered one of the biggest shows in North Texas, the 20-minute fireworks display brought many families and neighbors to come and bond together as a community while celebrating America's Independence Day. You can find out more by visiting friscofreedomfest.org. Jane Kathleen Gregorio, Eagle News, Frisco, Texas.
On to COVID news. State licensed pharmacists may now prescribe the anti-COVID medication Paxlovid to eligible patients with certain limitations. Krisan Fargata has the details.
The U.S. Food and Drug Administration authorizes state-licensed pharmacists to prescribe Paxlovid or nirmatrelvir and ritonavir to eligible patients with certain limitations. Paxlovid is authorized for the treatment of mild to moderate COVID-19 in adult and pediatric patients with positive results of direct SARS-CoV-2 viral testing, who are at high risk for progression to severe COVID-19, including hospitalization or death. Dr. Patrizia Cavaccioni, director for the FDA Center for Drug Evaluation and Research, says since Paxlovid must be taken within 5 days after symptoms begin, authorizing state-licensed pharmacists to prescribe Paxlovid could expand access to timely treatment for some patients who are eligible to receive the drug for the treatment of COVID-19. Patients who have tested positive for COVID-19 and are seeking to determine their eligibility for receiving the drug should bring the following in. State-licensed pharmacist is available: electronic or printed health records less than a year old, and a list of all medications they are taking, including over-the-counter medications. Kristen Fragata, Washington, D.C., Eagle News.
Meanwhile, the state of Nevada gives childcare a boost with $50 million in funding. Anna Cui has the story.
Governor Steve Sisolak officially launched the Nevada Child Care Fund Thursday to help families reduce child care costs across Nevada. In June, the Interim Finance Committee approved $50 million to improve accessibility and affordability for families that qualify for child care assistance. These funds will be used to cover more of the cost of child care for those who meet the program qualifications. This funding, as the governor promised during his 2022 State of the State address, will help lower child care costs for parents, keep child care centers open, and keep their workers on the job. In Southern Nevada, families can contact the Las Vegas Urban League at childcarelv.org, who will accept applications and answer questions about the program. This is a much welcome news to Nevada families as inflation is at its highest in 40 years and higher childcare costs is the last thing families need. In the U.S., it's virtually unaffordable for many, especially for young parents with small children who are just starting out in their careers. While public school education starting from kindergarten is free, childcare fees are an out-of-pocket cost and some use a great part of their income towards it. Some are faced with the choice to work or stay home to care for the kids because their income would barely cover the cost for childcare. According to a 2021 report by the U.S. Treasury Department, the childcare sector is an underfunded part of the U.S. economy, which is one of the reasons it says that the system has not been working out for many families. While over 100 prominent economists wrote a letter to Congress in 2021 expressing their support for long-term childcare investments and stating that American families and economic growth have been held back by the lack of modern care infrastructure, some policymakers argue that it will be an overstep and will only worsen the current state of inflation. The cost of childcare can vary depending on the age of the child and where you live. In Las Vegas, the average cost of infant childcare is $1,365 a month and around $806 for preschool, according to Tutories.com. Anna Cui, Eagle News, Las Vegas, Nevada.
In Maryland, a group of international delegates sits down for a roundtable discussion addressing domestic violence and human trafficking not only in the state, but also in communities around the world. In Glen Burnie, Rosel Feria reports.
The state of Maryland hosts an international delegation from North Africa and the Middle East at the State House. This is in support of the state's participation in the U.S. Department of State's International Visitor Leadership Program. The roundtable discussion, hosted by the Governor's Office of Crime Prevention, Youth and Victim Services, or GOCPYVS, talks about combating domestic violence and human trafficking, in addition to sharing victim support strategies. Governor Hogan says comprehensive crime prevention and victim support are critical to reducing incidents of heinous crimes like domestic violence and human trafficking. The delegation represented Bahrain, Chad, Egypt, Jordan, Kuwait, Lebanon, and the United Arab Emirates. Members of the delegation, composed primarily of emerging human rights and public health leaders, were sponsored by the U.S. embassies in their home countries. Rosel Feria, Glen Burnie, Maryland, Eagle News.
There is money to be spent, so spend it. President Joe Biden tells schools across the United States to make use of the billions of dollars in ARP funds to help kids catch up in their classes. Here's Jeff Sanidad on this week's Learning Curve.
By launching the national effort to support student success, schools are called upon to take advantage of the Billions in American Rescue Plan, or ARP funds, to help students make up for the lost learning time due to the pandemic. The White House says America's students are on average 2 to 4 months behind in reading and math because of the COVID-19 health crisis. With $122 billion in ARP funding, President Joe Biden says schools can provide high-quality tutoring, summer learning and enrichment, and after-school programs. He says these are proven strategies to help students make up for the lost learning time and succeed in school and in life. They include supporting the mental health of school-age children. The White House says other ways to help American students catch up and thrive includes individuals learning more about supporting youth through a range of volunteer and national service opportunities. community-based organizations expanding or improving tutoring, mentoring, and other programs, employers supporting employees serving as volunteers, colleges and universities partnering with K-12 schools and community-based organizations. Jeff Sanidad, Eagle News, Washington, D.C.
Hurricane season is around the corner, and Pennsylvanians are advised that securing flood insurance might just save their properties from inevitable damage. Here's Myla Simbulan on this week's Down to Earth.
Here in Pennsylvania, extreme weather can be a common occurrence throughout the summer months and into the fall. Problems that tag along include flooding and damage caused by hurricanes and severe thunderstorms. Property owners in the state are urged to prepare for hurricane season by considering flood insurance to protect their homes, businesses, and possessions. Flood insurance is available through both the National Flood Insurance Program or the NFIP and the rapidly growing private market regardless of whether you live in a designated flood zone. Homeowners who live in the federally designated Special Flood Hazard Areas or SFHAs are likely required to have flood insurance by their mortgage lenders. Individuals looking to purchase new homes and properties should research before buying to determine if the area has had any previous flooding. Myla Simbulan, Swarthmore, Pennsylvania, Eagle News.
In Australia, in an effort to vaccinate more Queenslanders against the common flu, free vaccinations have been extended. Alisa Ventura on this week's Oceania at a Glance.
In an effort to curb the spread of influenza cases across the state, free flu vaccines are now available for Queenslanders until July 17 this year. From late May of this year, Queensland has seen a sudden increase of influenza cases within the state. Influenza, or the common flu, affects the upper respiratory tract and the lungs. It is commonly caused by type A or B influenza viruses. Flu symptoms include fever, sore throat, dry cough, headache, muscle pains, and weakness. Every Queenslander aged 6 months and above can get their free influenza vaccines from GPs and pharmacies. As the colder days approach, the state government extends the free influenza vaccine program to ensure that Queenslanders receive adequate protection against the disease. Alisa Ventura, Townsville, Australia, Oceania at a Glance, Eagle News.
Still in Australia, runners are back in action as the Gold Coast Marathon returns. Patricia Madronio tells us of the action that took place during the two-day event.
The 2022 Village Roadshow Theme Park's Gold Coast Marathon proved as exciting as it did economically fruitful. Thousands of participants and spectators flocked to the beautiful city of Gold Coast to witness the two-day event.
Around 20,000 participants, many coming from interstate and overseas, ran in the different marathon events. The crisp winter air and slight drizzles kept runners cool throughout the day. Australian competitors took medals for the half marathon event. International runners succeeded in the marathon category. Saturday events included a 5-kilometer fun run and junior events, and the Sunday program included a 10-kilometer run and wheelchair events. Over 30 million Australian dollars have been brought in to boost the city's economy. CEO of Destination Gold Coast, Patricia O'Callaghan, says the marathon has brought in visitors, an opportunity to showcase the beauty of the city. Minister of Queensland Tourism and Sport, Sterling Hinchcliffe, says Gold Coast is a key global destination for running events. Its course is scenic, fast, and flat.
Patricia Madronio, Oceania at a Glance, Eagle News.
Papua New Guinea's arts and culture preservation gets a boost as the nation leaders launch a cultural policy that is first of its kind. Eco Hortaleza Quinola has the details.
Let's witness the first ever launching of the National Cultural Policy here at the APEC House, Port Moresby. A well-celebrated day beams with traditional songs and dances at the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Building. Today, Papua New Guinea's Honorable Prime Minister James Marape launches the first ever National Cultural Policy 2022 to 2032. Prime Minister Marape says it is a portal for economic potential and cultural tourism. He says this will prepare the future of Papua New Guinea as it addresses issues close to the heart of the nation and the people. The policy is expected to serve as a roadmap to appropriate interventions and actions.
Culture is something that can be converted into the benefit of our citizens and our children who will come after us and have entitled our conversation, see culture also from an economic perspective. And so foundationally, the next 10 years is very, very important.
Honorable James Marape congratulates Director Stephen Kilanda of the National Cultural Commission and his team, and to the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Honorable E.C. Henry Leonard, for a job he says was well done.
Now that we have a government that sees culture as an integral part of this country, through this policy, we need the continuity of this government.
The policy, if embraced, is expected to ensure protection, preservation, and safeguarding of culture and the arts. Eko Hortaleza Quinola, Oceania at a Glance, Eagle News.
In San Francisco, several teams showcase rookie and sophomore players in the 4th Annual California Classic. Eagle News correspondent Mark Maranco was there on the first day of the tournament. Here's this week's EBC Sports International.
We are here today at the Chase Center for the 4th Annual California Classic, where the LA Lakers, Miami Heat, Sacramento Kings, and hometown Golden State Warriors will be playing in a 3-day tournament where they'll be showcasing their rookie and sophomore players as they will try to earn a spot on the main roster and to potentially earn a contract to play with one of the 4 NBA teams. Other NBA scouts will also be here in attendance to potentially scout for any new talent they can add to their team. The first game of the California Classic started off with the Miami Heat versus the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers took a commanding 51-27 lead in the first half and did not stop the breaks entering the second half, with a final score of 100-66 in favor of the Los Angeles Lakers. Mac McClung off the bench led the team in scoring that day with 17 points on 5 of 9 shooting and was aggressive at getting to the basket with 4 trips to the line, converting on all but one of his free throw attempts. On the other end, Miami's new rookie, Nikola Jovic, and cast struggled to get the offense rolling, with Jovic only going 1 for 6 from the field while tallying 3 points all game, and his team going 23 for 82 from the field. The second game of the California Classic was with the Sacramento Kings, featuring their 4th overall pick in the 2022 NBA Draft, small forward Keegan Murray, going against the hometown Golden State Warriors. The Warriors kept things close with the Kings during the first half, with a score of 38-32 in favor of the Kings. However, in the second half, Sacramento got on a run, led by Keegan Murray's 8-point run with 7 minutes left in the third quarter, and sealed the game with a score of 86-68 in favor of the Sacramento Kings.
We don't have any magic pixie dust or anything, we just dig in and we just work with our guys in terms of what we think their strengths, where their strength zones are, where they can go, and just try to stay diligent about it and try to help them keep developing.
I hope I can get some, but you need to earn it, so I'll do my best on the practices and show everything I can, be as good as I can.
We're going to have turnovers, we're going to make mistakes, but I thought a couple times we hung our heads or tried to get a steal instead of just sprinting back and making the next play. So that's something we'll emphasize tomorrow in film. And I think as this group continues to play together, they'll keep getting more cohesive and get better with all that stuff.
I prefer the speed of the game here because it's like a lot of shots and defense and offense, quick, you're moving like too fast. And that's a point that I like it here. One thing that is like strange for me, I wasn't I wasn't doing that in FIBA games. Like, you had to take quick decisions in a, like, when you receive the ball or you do something, you have to do something with the ball. Yeah, in the FIBA game, you have like moving around, moving. So here is different.
Teams across the league today now know the talent that these young NBA players have, wanting to make their dreams come true. Mark Marenko, EBC News, San Francisco, California.
Risking everything for the big win? This is the thought behind the ongoing exhibit and film screenings at the Japan Information and Culture Center. Let's hear from Arlene Ocampo on this week's Embassy Files.
Here in Washington, D.C., the Japan Information and Cultural Center and the Embassy of Japan present Honoring the Go for Broke Spirit exhibition and film screenings. This exhibition, Go for Broke, is a slang meaning of risking everything for the big win. This display, manifested through the works of Shane Sato, will take you through World War II, telling the story of the Nisei Japanese Americans who fought for the U.S. with the World War II 442nd Regimental Combat Team. He shares personal stories of those who fought, along with candid photos. He felt the need for this project so that the next generation could remember a piece of Japanese and American history. In line with this new photo exhibition, there are 3 screenings at the JICC of Stamp Our Story. This documentary talks about the struggles and accomplishments of 3 elderly women who defeated the hindrances of campaigning for a Go for Broke stamp. This stamp is to honor America's Nisei soldiers. The exhibition will be on display until July 22, and the documentary will be screened on July 11, 13, and 15. Arlene Ocampo, Embassy Files, Washington, D.C.
From alternative comfort food to grown-up flavor twist to taste from around the globe, hundreds of specialty foods intrigue not only adventurous palates, but also those that fancy trendy taste. In New York, Joy-Anna Andres on this week's Color My World.
The Fancy Food Show in New York showcases more than 1,800 specialty food companies presenting the latest in international foods, beverages, cheese, chocolate, snacks, sweets, and deli. The Specialty Food Association behind this show is the leading trade organization for the $175 billion specialty food industry. Some top foods identified on their 2022 TrendSpotter radar are pasta and pizza sauces, alternative comfort food, grown-up flavor twists, taste from around the globe, everything bagel everywhere, and chocolate change-ups.
When we first started, we were just selling pure regular honey, which is great. But once we started 2 years ago by blending flavors to the same honey, then this really took off. And now we sell more cream honey than our regular liquid honey because of the flavors. We have 14 different flavors, something for everybody.
We make Papadelics crunchy mushroom chips, which are shiitake mushrooms reimagined for the modern superfood snacker. And so they're super crunchy in texture like a chip. People are used to having mushrooms as like a side dish. And I think the time has come where not only are mushrooms kind of the side dish, it's time for them to be the main dish.
My mother is the one who created this recipe. It's been in the making for the past 30 years. She gave me her recipes and I've converted them into what it is now. A lot of people don't know what a pupusa is, you know? And so it's been very interesting to kind of like share something that I grew up with as like my daily meal with others.
What is it about the everything bagel trend that just seems so exciting to people?
I think that it's the combination of all of the flavors, because you got poppy, you have onion, you have garlic, and really what makes us unique is that we're free of the top 9 common allergens, and then everything flavor is just like blowing up all over the place.
Are you New York based?
We're not. We're very close though. We're in Philadelphia, and we do sell to a lot of bagel shops and restaurants and cafes in New York City.
Amazing. I'm glad that New York is really accepting.
Yes, yes, definitely.
I feel like that's like you passed.
We did. We have passed the New York bagel test. Yeah.
Keep an eye out for these exciting food trends coming soon to you. Joyanne Andres, Eagle News, New York, New York.
Musicians, both renowned and rising stars, joined thousands of fans at Dodger Stadium to enjoy Major League Baseball and to celebrate the annual Filipino Heritage Night. Eva and Alan Basayahe of our Los Angeles Bureau with the story.
In their second regular season series meeting with the Chicago Cubs, the LA Dodgers continue at home play, looking to match the success of their recently finished stint against the Rockies.
But one aspect that baseball fans know will definitely be on repeat tonight is the always entertaining celebration of the annual Filipino Heritage Night at Dodger Stadium.
As you know, in the Philippines, there's no baseball game, only basketball. But this is my first time. That's why it's all there's a big elephant inside of me. Singing in Tagalog in a foreign land is very exciting. It's also an opportunity for us to share the love of our country. Not only that, but our patriotism.
I'm just very, very happy and I'm overwhelmed, and I just can't believe that I'm singing at Dodger Stadium because it's a dream to me. At the end, you're going to hear something that you weren't expecting.
Filipinos are amazing because they're just really kind and they're always smiling and they're always singing, and I just want to share that with the whole world. I want to make everyone else relax when I sing, and I want everyone to forget about all of their problems and to just let go and just have fun when I sing.
We've done so much, and the big thing is that we are always embracing our Filipino culture no matter what. And so that's why we love to see Filipino bands getting with other people, because it's to the core, that's our mission. So we love seeing Filipino culture.
They sing and they dance to everything. Filipinos, like anytime there's a song playing, they're singing and dancing wholeheartedly, you know? That's how you know they're Filipino.
When asked who would win the game, a couple newcomers to live MLB action gave the same resounding response.
Dodgers!
Dodgers!
And LA delivered when Mookie Betts smashed a solo single homer on his first at-bat. From there, the Dodgers would add 3 more runs while keeping the Cubs scoreless. That is until a 2-shot homer in the 5th gave Chicago a small window of hope. But ultimately, LA staved off any chance of a comeback, ending the contest and beating Chicago 5-2. Taking the win over Chicago, the boys in blue will no doubt capitalize on the momentum heading into the rest of this series against the Cubs. But while the Dodgers return to action at home, Filipino Heritage Night is done for the season.
That's not to say that recognizing the presence of Filipinos in LA is a one-night-only event. Rather, the contributions that Filipino communities make to the city are things worth celebrating each day.
Eva and Alan, Eagle News, Los Angeles, California.
Thank you all for joining us again. If there are stories or topics you want us to share with you, just comment below. View, like, share other shows. City Limits with Alan Basayahe.
2022 Tournament of Roses Parade.
Connected with Dr. David. Take a seat and join us with Anna Kui. Plate Date with Mike Hudson and friends. Plus, Journey, Stories of Filipinos in Canada with Kathleen Cruz. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Eagle News Live. I am Rose Papa Angeles. Happy weekend, everyone!